The night was freezing when someone knocked on my door at 2 a.m. I was 29, single, exhausted after a double shift at the hospital where I worked as a nurse. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door and found no one, just a baby in a carrier on my doorstep, wrapped in a thin blanket, with a crumpled note tucked under his tiny fist. The note said, "His name is Noah. I came to do this. Please." That was it. No name, no number, no address. I stood there in the cold, heart hammering, staring at this small face that stared right back at me with wide, dark eyes like he already knew the world had failed him. I looked up and down the empty street. There was only wind and silence. I brought him inside. I told myself it would be temporary. I told myself I'd call the authorities in the morning, do the right thing, hand him over to the system. But when I laid him on my couch and he grabbed my finger and didn't let go, something inside me rearranged itself permanently. I didn't call anyone in the morning. I named him Noah officially the day I signed the adoption papers 18 months later. The process nearly broke me. The legal fees, the social workers, the home visits, the paperwork that seemed designed to make you give up. I was a single woman with a modest income. The system wasn't built for people like me. But I'd already made my choice the second I brought him in from the cold. Noah was a beautiful child. Curioso, warm, endlessly energetic. But there were complications early on, a heart murmur the doctors discovered at 4 months, then a learning difference that wasn't diagnosed until first grade. His teachers said he was difficult. I said he was different, and difference deserved patience, not punishment. I fought for him in every room that tried to reduce him to a label. At parent-teacher conferences, I sat across from people who had already decided what Noah could and couldn't become. I smiled, nodded, then went home and helped him study until midnight. I read every book on his learning style. I found tutors when I couldn't afford them by trading extra nursing shifts. I rearranged my entire life like a puzzle until he fit safely in the center of it. People in my life drifted. Dates didn't call back when they found out I had a child. My social circle shrank to almost nothing. There were nights so lonely I sat in my car in the hospital parking lot and just breathed, not able to go inside and not able to go home. I couldn't afford to fall apart. No one needed me whole. The teenage years were the hardest. At 16, he found the adoption papers. He didn't rage or cry. He went quiet in a way that was somehow worse. For weeks, he answered me in single syllables, his eyes holding a question he couldn't bring himself to ask out loud. Why didn't my real mother want me? One night I sat on the edge of his bed in the dark and I told him everything. The cold. The note. The finger he'd grabbed and never let go. I told him I didn't know why she left, and that her reasons didn't matter as much as what came after, which was me, choosing him, every single day. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Did you ever regret it?" I answered without hesitation. Not once. That was the night something shifted between us. He stopped pulling away. He started asking me things about the world, about people, about how to be good in it. I had no perfect answers. I just gave him honest ones. Noah graduated high school with honors. Not because it was easy, because he worked like someone who understood that nothing was guaranteed. He got into a business program on a partial scholarship, and I covered the rest by picking up weekend shifts and quietly selling the car I'd been planning to replace for years. He graduated university at 22. I sat in that auditorium with a bouquet of flowers I'd bought from a gas station because the florist was closed, and I cried so hard the woman next to me offered me a tissue and asked if I was okay. I told her I was better than okay. He built something after that. Quietly, steadily, with the same determination he'd shown since the moment he decided to stop being afraid. A small tech company that solved a problem no one else had thought to solve. By the time he was 28, it had grown into something I couldn't have imagined when I was standing in my doorway in the freezing dark holding a baby in a thin blanket. I didn't know she had found him until he told me himself. His biological mother had tracked him down through social media. She had seen his name in a business profile, recognized the date of birth, done the math. She reached out with a long message full of explanations, apologies, and a very carefully worded curiosity about who he had become. I asked him how he felt. He said, "I don't feel much. I already know who my mother is." He asked me to come with him when he agreed to meet her once. Not for closure, he said, but because he wanted to see it through clear eyes and I was the person who kept his vision clear. We walked into that coffee shop together. She was already there, well-dressed, composed, her eyes searching his face for something, forgiveness, maybe, or recognition, or proof that everything had turned out fine without her. He sat down. He was polite. He was calm. She asked how he had gotten to where he was. She said she never imagined that the night she left him, she thought she was doing the right thing for everyone. She talked around it for 20 minutes before she finally said the words, "I thought someone else would love you better than I could." Noah nodded slowly. Then he said, "Someone did." He glanced at me across the table, and in that one look was every late night, every fight with the school system, every gas station flower bouquet, every moment I had chosen him when no one required me to. She cried. He didn't stop her, and he didn't join her. He waited, then thanked her for meeting him, stood up, and walked out. In the car, he didn't say much. I didn't push. After a long silence, he reached over and squeezed my hand once. Then he started the car. I don't need a dramatic ending to the story. There was no public reckoning, no room full of gasping relatives, no revenge that looked satisfying from the outside. What there was a boy left on a doorstep who grew into a man who knew exactly who he was and exactly who had made him. And a woman who answered the door at 2 a.m. and never stopped being grateful she did.